From Alameda, California, the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network presents Flying High Over the Zone with the Zigzag Man.
I am back, and you are Comfortably Zoned with Ralph Tyko from Alameda, California, right across the bay from San Francisco in the northern part of the great state of California. And I'm blessed today. I have two guests. Man, I don't know where to start. Alan Blumkin.
No, you start with Mark. He
No, I got to start with you, Alan.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. You're the backbone of this entire station. You're all reliable. I want to introduce you as a fellow podcaster. You have, not only do you come on my show and the Peter Golenbach show on a most regular basis, but you have your own two podcasts, one with Hal Bach, and that is a look back on vintage football, baseball, and hockey from Nedick's, the old garden, and we go back to some memories, and you have that show, and you also have a show with David Nemec, and it's old-time baseball and trivia, and
it's more history than trivia. Yeah, the way we've done it so far, it's much more history than trivia. Much
more, but you know, you mix in. There's always something to think about when you do it. It's wonderful. It's an education. If anybody out there, and this includes my guest today, Mark Littell, listening in, returning to the zone, former Major League pitcher, pitching guru as a coach, both on a professional and an amateur level, and now an author of an upcoming book, an upcoming bestseller. It's really doing beautiful. It's On the Eighth Day, God Made Baseball. And what impresses me right off the bat with the book, other than it's not right off the bat for me, I have had it in my possession, and I'm scouring it. Alan has read the entire book from front to cover, from cover to front. The forward is by Whitey Herzog, and Whitey was Mark's manager in both leagues, in both St. Louis and in Kansas City, and I just want to know from you, Mark, how it came about that he wrote the forward for the book.
Well, I've known Whitey since I was in my my third call up in a sense, and when he became manager over in Kansas City, I was 13-6 at the time in AAA, and I had gone through an arm surgery the year before, and when he came up, he called me up, and I really didn't know Whitey at all at that point. I guess he had seen me, and so I got called up a little bit earlier than the general September 1st call up, and so that's how I got to know Whitey, and he got to know me, and I was starting at the time, and then when I got traded over to the Cardinals, I went across state to the National League and went from blue to red. He came over about a year and a half later, and about 2 years later, somewhere in there, And so Whitey and I got to know each other because we're both kind of rednecks anyway. We like to hunt and fish, and so I asked her to do my forward. I said, "Would you do my forward, Whitey?" And he said, "I most certainly would." And I said, "That's great, because so we're good."
And he writes
good buddies.
He writes a beautiful forward. He really likes you. Both as a human being and as a pitcher. I mean, you've done him proud. And to be a closer on both of the teams he managed in the Midwest, has to be cool beans, Mr. Littell.
He's an interesting guy. Whitey is, he has short meetings. I don't think I've ever seen one go over 2.5 minutes. And when Whitey has a meeting, doesn't have very many meetings, you pretty much perk up your ears a little bit at that time. So, and they're always very good meetings. He got away with words. So, and got a way to motivate people
in a southern charming way, like your dear old self.
He was, I think, the last Whitey. I don't think any player's been called Whitey since him. He outlasted Whitey Ford by a few years because of his managerial career, but I don't think anybody's been called Whitey. A lot of players used to be called Red and Whitey, and that's basically disappeared.
Right.
Yes.
Very good.
You don't hear it anymore.
Very good. And his first name was Darrell.
Darrell, yeah. I remember from the baseball cards when he was playing.
Yeah,
he came up with the Yankee system and went to Washington.
Card, big W. They had nice cards with a logo of the Capitol and this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah, I think he and Dick Williams were both teammates on the Kansas City A's for a while.
Yep. He and Billy Martin and Dick Williams are pretty good friends, I guess. They hung out.
And I do know that Whitey learned everything from Casey Stengel, and the whole instructional league trip that Casey put on the Yankees that was so incredibly beneficial in preparing rookies for big league action. And Whitey subscribed to that. He was a member of that incredible farm team, that farm system that Weiss put together in the 50s when they were throwing money into it. When Del Webb and Topping, before they decided to sell the team, they were throwing a lot of their profits back into player development. And it was it benefited everybody, and Whitey went on to literally a Hall of Fame career as a manager. Anything before I have Alan talk to you about your terrific book, Mark? Anything you can tell us about Whitey that we don't know?
The one
interesting
thing
story doesn't have to be funny. Could be pointed.
I can tell you this: if you don't want to cross Whitey, and I've seen guys, come out in the locker room and voice their opinion a little bit too much, maybe. And back then, in the day of the 70s and 80s, you might just end up in Texas or Cleveland if you voice too much in a trade. So that's part of the gig right there. I remember Whitey coming out to the mound on me one time, and he always had kind of a shitty grin on his face sometimes, and it didn't matter to me. He knew that. I was just there. Let's get outs. And so we were in Oakland, and we had 2 outs in the 9th, and it would have been 3 innings for a save. And that didn't matter to me. You got to get 3 innings and then get a save. And when Whitey was coming out, he's going to take you out. He wasn't going to say anything to you usually. And but I said I came halfway off the mound in the grass to him because I said, Whitey, I can get this SOB right here. I was kind of laughing, and he started snickering. I said, I'm not shitting. I can get this SOB. And he said, I know you can. He said, let's let Mingo come in and get him for you, though, Mingori. And I said, okay. So he was kind of snickering about it. And well, the guy was Billy Williams, So what he didn't want was the line SWAT coming out there, whatever. But there's all sorts of things. And in the book, Alan's probably going to talk about it I always talked about the commander's stance that he had when he had his hands tucked in, his thumbs were out, and he's sitting there, backed up on one knee like he's on a ship or something, and giving you that grin and spitting some chewing tobacco. But anyway, he's a real interesting guy, and Whitey said a lot sometimes, and he can talk forever, and then sometimes he'd sit there and he makes you drag you into one. So he's pretty good about what he did.
All right.
Yeah, Mark, I have your baseball reference page on my iPad right now.
Oh, okay.
And as I see, basically, that when you were in the minors coming up, you were a starter. Did Whitey convert you into a reliever, or what? How did you become a reliever after you had compiled what looks like a pretty decent record as a starter over your minor league career?
Well, actually, I didn't have a true third pitch, and we had an owner lockout in '76, and so spring training was shortened, and they were talking about guys like Littell might not get that real true shot or something, and whatever. But I did. I made the team. I threw very well, actually, for the 10 innings that I got in, and I went to Whitey on the last day, or next to the last day, rather, and I said nothing had been said to me. And he was out in the outfield hanging out, and I went by him and I said, Whitey, am I going north? Am I breaking with the team to go north? He said, most certainly are. I said, well, that's all I need to know. That was about it. Yeah, we opened up to Baltimore. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Had to be a great feeling. Unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
Actually. Who was the first person you called? Your dad?
Yeah, it was my dad.
Okay. You said something very interesting to me about once we were chatting off the air, and I knew you like we knew each other a little bit about 30 years ago, and I said to you, one of the things I like about producing a show and doing a show that when I can call somebody who I know isn't going to hasn't ever, will never big league me ever in any way. And your response, I don't know but it told me everything I need to know about you and your dad, both. You said, my dad would hit me with the shovel if I did that.
Yeah, oh yeah. And my mom would probably back him up. She was a registered nurse for 53 years, and back when my mom was a nurse, they used to sharpen the needle. They just didn't come in a pack and you open them up. They sharpened them and put them in a boiling water, and then they reshot you again. And my brother and I could have swore she squared those suckers up, and we hit the bone when she drove it in. And she got a hard shot when she shot you. But
all right. Hey, listen, I'm going to let Alan take it, and you guys flow with it. And I want to thank you in advance for a terrific show, both of you.
Thanks, Ralph.
Yeah, Mark. One of the things that go ahead. Let me
answer your question. Anyway, we go to Baltimore, and we're 1-1, I think, and we had the rubber game, and I hadn't pitched yet. Whitey said to me, we'd blown the game the night before. I don't think he really knew who he was going to use. And I don't think it was, Birdie was not right or something was going on at that time. And Whitey came up to me in the outfield for the third game, and he walked over to me and I was throwing. He said, hey, country, because he hadn't started calling me airhead yet. And he said, hey, country. He said, you know what a closer does? And I said, yeah, he slams the door. He said, that's what I want you to do the rest of the year. You think you can handle that? And I said, yeah. He said, well, I'm going to stretch you out the first time. And actually, I got in the game that day and threw four-plus innings and gave up a couple hits, no runs. And I actually picked up the win that day. But from there on out, I was the closer in '76. So that was to answer your question right there, Al.
Yeah, one of the things that really impressed me is that you gave. I was at the game where Chambliss hit the home run off you. I was at all the Yankee postseason games in 1976, 77, and 78. Sometimes I had decent seats, sometimes they weren't so good. But I was in the upper deck when Chris Chambliss hit the home run off you, and I wasn't one of the crazies that ran onto the field. Yeah, I was 33 at that point, and I never did those kinds of things. But I think, when you gave Chambliss a couple of pages in your book, I thought that was extremely classy.
Well, he's a nice guy, and I had met him before, and he's the right kind of guy. And Chris, he's not a malicious person. I'm not a malicious person. And I wanted to kind of tell my side of it. And then when I had gotten a hold of Chris and told him that I'm writing a book, and I said, I'd like to have you comment if you would. And I said, this is just kind of out of the clear blue. I had talked to Chris before one other time, and after the home run, years later, and he and I are kind of the same animal. We would like to consider ourselves pretty good guys,
Yeah.
So he did. He commented, and then I actually commented because, I just wrote the story out the way I saw it, the way I felt it at the time, and that's the way it was.
Yeah, it also seems that most of the books like yours that come out, the best ones, and this is going all the way back to Jim Brosnan and Jim Bouton. Ralph Perry came out with one, John DeCristo and you, and most of the most interesting ones are done by pitchers.
Yeah.
I guess you think that being a pitcher has a much different perspective than being an everyday player?
Well, we've got a little bit more time on our hands sometimes to watch a game in a different perspective. Let's put it that way. And when you're doing the bullpen, anything goes. As you read in my book, I traded balls for dogs.
Yeah.
I usually have about 4 hot dogs in me before I pitch. But no, I think you get a different view. Because you got a little bit more time, and you're sitting there tuned into the game a little bit more differently than the guy that's playing out there every day.
Yeah, John McGraw in the early 1900s had a pitcher on his staff named Bugs Raymond, who would be in the bullpen and trade balls for bottles of booze.
Well, I'm not surprised.
He didn't last very long,
Yeah, I'm sure of that. And then we used to call in our orders from Baltimore's bullpen to the Crab Shack, and you probably heard that one before, maybe. But we'd call in, and if we were going in, we had one time when we were in extra innings, and say, "Hey, hold off, we'll call you right when the game ends."
Were you ever in a bullpen with Mo Drabowski?
Yeah, one time. Yeah.
He used to use the bullpen phone to call for pizza. There's all sorts of stories about him and the bullpen. He'd call the opposing dugout to tell him to change pitchers, that sort of thing.
Sure, that's all. And then Fennell was down there one night when he had a night off, and he was trying to call China and order Chinese food. So I mean, that was pretty good. That's typical Lou, Say what?
When you were in the bullpen, did you go back and forth with fans? Or were they too far away?
No, they weren't. No, they were there. But I didn't talk to them too much. I didn't. Sometimes I did, sometimes I didn't. If I'd see somebody curious, I'd say, hey, what's going on, or something, and chew the fat a little bit, and then go back to the game and whatever else.
Now, you have come in for some really tough pitchers like Dennis Leonard and Paul Splittorff.
Right.
And
real good.
How was the relationship between the bullpen, basically between the bullpen pitchers and the starters.
It was good. It was good. In Kansas City, it was good. St. Louis is a little different. When you got over there, I don't know that they had, you switched management, right when I got in there was, Burton was gone. He wanted me to start for some reason because, he saw me starting in AAA and I got pitcher of the year, the Allie Reynolds Award and all that stuff, and I was throwing good. He said, you were such a great start. I said, hey, I've closed for the last 2 years, and, to put me in a start, it's probably like, oh, kids me type thing. But that didn't last long because he got fired first 2 weeks. And I ended up breaking a Cardinal record, which was, it's funny as hell to me, is because this guy, one of the interns from ESPN called me, and I know when they call, these kind of kids, and they say Mr. Littell. When they say Mr. Littell, I said, yeah, what do you want? And so I'm just kind of screwing with them a little bit. And they said, well, did you know your record might fall? And I said, what record? And he said, well, you hold the all-time strikeout records in any single season for Cardinal relievers. I said, no shit. So anyway, it was kind of interesting. And I said, well, who's going to break it? And they said, Rosenthal might. I said, good for him. I said, records are meant to be broken. So he missed it by 3, so I'm still there. But
I see you had 130 in the first year there in 1978.
Right, yeah.
And you had pretty good control. You didn't walk for all that many.
I could, but I didn't that year for some reason. But the funny thing is that you're sitting here looking at all these guys, and you're sitting there looking at these lists of records of Stan Musial, Gibson, McCarver, Ozzie, and then you see Littell. I think it's just it's great.
It's pretty good company.
Oh yeah, big company.
Did you have much opportunity to interact with Stan Musial? Yes.
Very nice person. And I played catch with him in the Dominican Republic. I guess he had some business down there with a hotel or something. And so, Stan was, he dressed out in the uniform, and we were playing the Phillies in a couple exhibition games down there. So Stan was on the trip, and, he always played the harmonica, and just a soft-hearted guy, just a great guy. But I said, hey, Stan, you want to play some catch? And he says, yeah. You know how he talks. Yeah. So Boyer's the manager, KB, we called him, and I start playing catch, and he starts, throwing from the side, throwing down low, throw a little bit overhand, and I start, letting it go a little bit. And KB walks over to me and he says, hey, why don't you just back it down a little bit? I said, what? He said, you don't want to kill him. I said, oh yeah, okay.
That's the one guy you don't want to kill.
Yeah, KB.
The other one is Red Shandings.
KB to the uninitiated is Ken Boyer. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
From another Missourian.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's from a little old town there, Alba.
Alba.
Yeah, they all of them came out of it. All 3 of them, I think.
Yes.
Boys who pitched in the early 50s.
9 brothers that played pro ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Cleet and Ken.
Cleet, Ken, and
Cloyd.
Cloyd.
Yeah.
And Cloyd was a pitching.
He was somewhat older than the other 2.
Yeah, he was older.
Yeah.
He pitched with the Cardinals as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. Did you guys have old timers days? Like in New York, old timers days are really big. Did you have that in the Midwest with Kansas City and probably not so much with Kansas City?
No. St. Louis.
Not with St. Louis.
Yeah. No, we did with St. Louis quite a bit. Yes, always an old timers game. They're very good about that.
Okay, did they bring in any of the Gas House Gang? Were any of those guys still alive?
Well, you had Enos Slaughter, and I guess I don't know if he's part of the Gas House Gang, but
The latter
if
part.
you throw, he'd do the latter part. But I didn't really pay too much attention because they were pretty much hobbling around, and I was trying to stay alive at the time. But because I remember those gas houses. But which I'm getting ready to start doing.
Mark, we
now,
mock
right?
the things we ought to be. Just remember that.
Yeah. Oh,
Mark, did you hit the minor leagues at all before you? I know you came up to the Royals at the DH was already in there. Did you hit in the minor leagues at all? Because I know when you went to the National League, you had a hit.
Right. In rookie ball, I hit, and then in A ball, I did not hit, and it was just in rookie ball. And that's when Weiss, came up to me on the bench there one night, when I was in the game pitching, and he said, "Hey, Country," he said, "Airhead." He said, "Hey, Air, when's the last time you hit?" I said, "Rookie ball, maybe A ball." He said, "You're up third." I said, "I'm gonna keep you in the DH." I said, "Really? That's gonna be okay." I said, "Fine by me." So anyway, I took three and sat down, went back out and pitched.
How did it feel to go to get traded? Because that's something that a lot of players. I heard the story that a lot of players said the first time it hurts, but after that, they don't feel a thing. But were you surprised?
It does hurt because no, not really, because I think people kind of wear their welcome out a little bit sometimes, and they might have other plans, and they're available at the time. Somebody was available apparently, and Robofsky was available, and let's put a deal together, and they did it at the 30-minute deadline Hawaiian time, where the meetings were that year, and I got the call, and I was glad I was going to the Cardinal. It really doesn't matter sometimes, but it's kind of neat here. You get to play for both teams, and you're from the state of Missouri. So you're playing for an American League, you're playing for a National League team. You've got two great owners. Ewing Kaufman was a great owner. He was very innovative, and they called the Royals basically they were the team of the 70s in a sense because they did some really innovative things with the academy thing, and then
Sid Thrift, my old friend
right?
Sid Thrift.
Exactly.
One of the things I want to ask you about, Mark, is one of the things I really enjoyed in the book is your interaction with one of my favorites, who's generally disliked here because of what he did to the Yankees most of the time, was your friend, Mr. George Brett.
Yes, right.
Are you still in touch with him? And
George is kind of corporate right now. He's hard to get in touch with sometimes. I'll send him an email or something once in a while, but I haven't been out to the Royal side because going out to Surprise is like first-class airfare from where I am out in Arizona. But I'll make it out there and run into him. I'm sure because I'm sure he's riding down in the golf cart somewhere or on the field doing something. But George and I were 18 years old. We were just like we were pretty wild, and we were game for anything. I didn't even tell all the stuff that was kind of funny. That's part of it,
he got it, became very famous here. Despite the home run he hit off Gossage in 1980, was when with the Pine Tar game, and I read that he got married after his playing career was over, and one of his oldest boy was like 5 or 6. He says always wanted to see where Daddy got mad when he came out of the dugout when they called him out for the Pine Tar.
Right.
And he went out just absolutely ballistic.
Yeah, he did. And you would, if anybody were to ask you in that era, who's the coolest and calmest player that you've ever seen on the field, you'd say George Brett, because George is just totally relaxed out there now. If somebody asked me that question, well, he came off that bench. I said, yeah, but he said he wasn't on the field. He was on the bench when he did that. So I said, that's when he went ballistic.
Did you know his brother?
Ken.
The pitcher.
Yeah.
I understand that coming up, his brother was the superior hitter.
Well, if that were true, I think that would have happened. But I mean, because George is just such a great hitter. He had extremely fast hands. He had eye-hand coordination, and he could just square up a baseball easily. It was easy for him to do that, and it was just fun to watch. Because George and I roomed a little bit together, and we got to know each other pretty well. And when Charlie Lau got a hold of him, that's when he really got a hold of him. That's when he started really hitting the baseball, and he never hit it 300 in the minors. And I think in the first year, I don't think he hit 300. I think he hit 284 or something like that. But I think in the second year from there on out, it was 300. From there on out.
And you had a very good double play combination behind you.
Oh,
in
that's right.
Kansas City, yeah. And then in St. Louis, I think you were there when Ozzie Smith got there.
Yes, well, Tempe was great too, and then you had Ozzie, and then you had Tommy Herr, well over there with that, and then you had Freddie Patek, who was 5'4", and he was from Seguin, Texas, and I basically called him Little Big Man, and because he had a big arm on him. I'm telling you, he could play, he could cover some ground on that turf, and then you had
very quick.
Frank White, of course. Frank, he was in the academy. He's a prodigy from the academy, and he had all the tools, obviously. Frank White's Frank White. So, he did his thing too. But I was blessed with a good infield and a good center fielders like Amos Otis and McGee and all those guys.
Willie McGee was terrific. Very underrated guy, Willie McGee.
Oh gosh, very underrated.
Yeah, Yankees got rid of him for nothing, and for a pitcher that never made named Bob Sykes, and the Mets traded Amos Otis to the Royals for a third baseman named Joe Foy, who was didn't last very long here. Those are two of the most infamous trades that they made locally here.
Yeah, well, that was one of the Amos Otis thing was one of the worst trades. The worst trade the Mets made. You can talk about Ryan is right up there, but
right. Well, you got Lou Brock trade.
AO lasted 12 years in the majors, and Foy was gone after 2 years.
Well, it's really funny. Just an aside, when Lou Brock was traded, I interviewed Dick Groat in 1985, and I asked him about that because Groat was on the Cardinals then, and he said everybody thought it was a terrible trade for them, and then Brock, was a sensation when he came there, and they asked him what happened. He said, he played in Chicago Cubs under the College of Coaches, and he said he was so confused he didn't know which way was up.
Sure.
Right.
So once he was traded from them, it was more of a liberation than a trade.
I got to watch Lou Brock as a Chicago Cub. He probably weighed 150 pounds, and he hit a ball in the center field bleachers.
At the Polo Grounds.
Right, and that was a doubleheader. It was the doubleheader in which he did that in one of the games, and Marv Throneberry missed first and second in another game.
Huh.
Casey came out and he said, they called him out for missing first. Casey said, after hitting a triple, and Cookie Lavagetto says to Casey, don't worry about it. He missed second as well. You don't have a chance.
Mark, did you like coming here on road trips to New York?
Yeah, I sure did, actually. I love New York, actually, and I kind of like, sometimes I pitch better in away ballparks because I like to really come in and quiet the fans down a little bit. That was my motivation. I think sometimes I actually pitch better than in away games.
Yeah, who Who
I'm deaf
was
in
your?
one ear anyway, and I couldn't hear anybody yelling at me. I just kind of laughed at them because I couldn't hear them. I just thought I'd piss them off more.
Who was your toughest hitter, and who was your easiest hitter of the prominent ones?
Well, the toughest ones were not who you think would be the big guys, and like Andy Etchbarren, for some reason, I don't know why, but he just barely stuck his bat on him in short stroke. He just hit, a couple of flares that didn't do me justice at different times. And, so it was, interesting. And, but I don't know, it's just usually the little guys sometimes, because when you're throwing hard and, you have tendency to go ball one, ball two, now you gotta play, catch up. You sometimes walk that leadoff guy, and then somebody comes up and gets a dying quail. Now you've got first and third. Now you've got to really, go for the gusto. But the guys like, for some reason, Schmidt, Luzinski never got hit off me. Reggie Jackson didn't like that, no. And he even said that, I guess. But I don't know. The big guys, they didn't bother me too much. But
did you ever pitch against any of your really close friends in life?
I pitched against George in an exhibition game when I was over with the Cardinals. Now, let me bring this one up. Tony Oliva hit me very well too, and he was a true hitter. Tony Oliva, he could hit.
Yeah.
And that's one of the other guys. But no, well, George, I got, I actually struck George out. It's funny. It's funny. It was in St. Louis. We had that exhibition on one of those, what do you call it? One of those, we had owner's lockout or something. No, it's players thing. So we had that thing going on. So we had the exhibition game, then the baseball season got started again.
Mark, we've talked a number of times, and I barely broached the Chambliss thing with you, and just out of respect, and how there's much more to your life than that.
Huh?
But there's a chapter in your book where you really show your vulnerability, and you write beautifully about what it was to go through this. I mean, you brushed it off like, yeah, I gave it up, and I came out, life goes on. So that's not an easy thing.
No, it is. It's tough, and I probably spent 8 or 10 minutes back in that shower, and there was 4 or 5 guys back there with me, and
you remember one of them was Dave Nelson, who
and he's a prince of a guy and a great guy. And Dave Nelson and Amos Otis and Cisco came back there, and AC Al Callen came back, and White came back eventually. I know he was busy and stuff, but it's tough. You sit there and you only give up 1 home run all year. Then furthest thing from my mind was a home run. And I mean, people sit there and they talk about. They say, oh, the 7-minute break and all this and all that. And it was colder than crap. It was really cold. And, not good. But I just said to myself, I said, hey, if I'm going to play professional baseball, I got to go out there and, just stand up and here we go. I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy at all about anything, but,
Were the writers hard on you?
No, they weren't. They were okay. I don't think the writer's ever been really hard on me. I mean, I just
good. That's what's nice to hear. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm nice to them, and they're nice to me, and it's cordial, and I don't think a writer has ever been hard on me.
You're lucky to have played in a city or in cities where the press is mellow.
Oh yeah. Right.
Historically, the Boston press, New York press, Philadelphia press, they can be very tough on a ball player.
Oh, yeah.
Mark, I saw an entry in your register, in your reference page. One inning pitched in 1994. Was that some independent league or something? And was that a promotion of some sort?
No, in the book, there's a place in there I have on Forrest Gump statistics on the last page.
Yeah.
On the last page, but on the last chapter. And I actually activated myself in the California League because one of the pitchers, his flight did not make it in, and we were really short on pitching. And I called Lamar Johnson, who was managing the team. I said, we were playing Colorado, and Billy Hayes was over there, the other manager. He said, you're not going to activate yourself. You'll get killed. And I said, well, I've been thrown
you were playing San Francisco, I think. Billy Hayes was...
Yeah, right.
Not Colorado.
We were... well, no, in the minors, he was with Colorado.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought Billy Hayes was a giant minor league guy.
He was in Visalia that one year. And so anyway... So Billy was over there, and Lamar said, so I pulled myself in. I activated myself. And so what I did, he says, well, you're going to take it up. He said, you're going to take the lineup up. I said, yeah, that's no problem. So I took the lineup up, and we were just chewing the fat with the umpires, laughing and doing all the other stuff like you're supposed to do. And so it was, I let Billy walk away. I said, okay, see you guys later. And I let Billy walk away. I said, and I turned back around to the umpires and who I knew, and I said, oh, by the way, if you look down there on that card, I activated myself. And the guy looked down there and said, well, I beat God. You did, didn't you? You sure? Yes, you're cleared to go. And I said, okay. So anyway, I was going to let Billy catch it. Second inning, he looks over at me in the dugout. He says, you're not going to pitch tonight, are you? And I said, there's no way you're going to pitch. I said, hey, you never know. So anyway, we ran out of pitching. I pitched the ninth inning, and I not only pitched the inning, but it was a 10 pitch inning, and so all the pitchers down there hooting and hollering that their pitching coach was, now pitching, 14 years later, and after coming out of the game, out of the major leagues, and all of a sudden I throw a 10 pitch inning, and the score was 3-2 at the time, and we scored 2 runs, and I picked up the win. That's pretty cool.
Wow.
But the funny thing is, Fred Stanley was our farm director, and Fred was great, and he's a super guy. And so Fred, I obviously write the reports on the pitchers up every night, so I put me down as throwing 92 that night. Fred calls me next day. He says, hey, country. He says, were you really throwing 92 last night? I said, in my dreams.
What's your opinion on the way they use pitchers now? Do you think it's detrimental to the game? I mean, with the starters going 5 innings and there's so much switching of relief pitchers, and I'm sure in your career, when you closed, you went more than 1 inning often.
Well, go ahead.
What's your opinion on the way they use pitchers now?
Well, you probably remember the terminology back in the day called 5 and fly.
Yeah.
And in other words, you throw 5 innings and all of a sudden you get hit around in the 6th, and the reliever comes in, and you vultured down with the win right there. But nowadays, it truly is 5 and it's actually 6 and fly, I guess you'd call it. But there's and they've got all the guys banged out. But you're having a lot of guys based on velocity nowadays. There's a lot less pitching, and they're all banked upon who's got the most velo. And well, that's not really the answer, because you're also having a lot more Tommy Johns. 2 days ago, I had lunch with Tommy John.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah, it's funny. And we were talking about this very same thing. He says, Mark, and we both agreed. It's all about velo. And I said, velocity. In other words, they call it velo. That's the new term of the last 5 years, 8 years.
Yeah.
And then they don't pitch. And they do all these different, kind of weights and things, and they're more upper half rather than lower half, and they want to throw humongously weighted balls, and all of a sudden they wonder why they got more Tommy Johns and more labrum tears. And I was a rehab coach for 2 years. I mean, I've been through 2 operations. My mom was a nurse for 53 years. I took an interest to this, and I still do. You got to keep it simple, stupid. I said, you talk about baseball specific. I'm not so sure there's very many baseball specific people out there too much anymore, to tell you the truth.
Do you think somebody like you would get really heavily looked at today because you couldn't throw 100? I mean, that seems to be the case. It seems to me it doesn't really with a lot of these guys. It doesn't really matter whether or not they can get the ball over.
Well, that's right.
Because that from what I've seen over the 65 years I've been following it, that the pitcher has to get the ball over to be successful.
Exactly. I mean, you fall behind the count, and the pitcher can't, ends up, walking 2 guys and giving up a run. It's, this guy throws 102 miles an hour. Yeah, but you got 2 runners on and two runs in. So, I mean, that's not much of a pitcher. So you've got, throwing and pitching have one thing in common. You got the same amount of letters in both words, and that's pretty much where it stops. That's pretty much it.
Do you do much coaching now?
I have 2 college teams right now in Arizona. I had 7 at one time as far as, 14 to 18, 13. And, their kids are kind of soft. Their thumbs are the strongest part of their bodies, because of Xbox and crap like that. I can verify this, that, Phoenix has the best plastic surgeons,
Yeah.
I guarantee that.
Who are your pitching coaches, and which ones did you learn the most from?
Well, Gary Blaylock, who signed me.
Yeah.
And then I had Bill Fisher. Fish was good.
Yeah.
And then Up Kittle was good, very good. Kept it simple. It just made sense. Simple stuff.
Yeah.
And they'd been around the game, and they'd expect you to get your running in. And of course, we ran a little bit more than these guys now they do. They go into the weight room and they pump the iron with the weights rather than, if you want to kill. These guys take an hour to do some of this stuff sometimes. In the off season, or a lot longer than that. And I'd say, well, hell, I can kill you in about 10 or 12 minutes and make you all pissed off, really pissed off at me if you want. But, and I can get the job done really fast, And
in your era and before that, the pitchers were basically, I know Tom Seaver, for example, was one of them, that depended on the strength of his legs. And basically, if the legs went, that was it for pitchers back then.
Well, it's the same now. I mean, actually, the core goes first, then the legs. The core is the strongest part of the body, then the legs go.
Yeah.
Then once the legs go, then, you start losing it, you elevate the ball, and the ball's out of the ballpark. Game's over. Bye.
Did you follow Mike Marshall at all when he was pitching 100 games a year as a reliever?
Yes, I did. And, Mike Marshall has a really weird way of doing things, but, I understand where he's coming from. I really do. I mean, I know there's a lot of people that disagree, but there's a lot of things that he says that fall in place better than some of the other crap that I've heard, and it's really kind of interesting.
Did you last the full season in 1982 with the Cardinals, and were you eligible for the postseason?
No, I was not. I got a ring and half a share out of it. They were extremely nice, the players, to me. Very nice. And I pitched in 16 games, actually, that year. And my elbow just blew. And it just blew out. And, Whitey, he said, hey, Mark. He said, hey, Country. He said, Harry, you can come down on the bench. And I said, nah, I didn't want to go down on the bench during the World Series. I said, let them ride it out. So I was at the games, obviously, but so. Yeah,
because I say that you win the 76 LCS and the 77 LCS against the Yankees, and that must to a team to come that far and so close, that had to be very, very disappointing.
extremely, both years especially. Second year especially because, we were up 2 runs in our own ballpark right there, and then we get beat. They score 4 if I'm not mistaken, and go on and they actually, I think they won the series that year in '77. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they beat the Dodgers in '77 and '78.
Right.
I mean, after '76, they played the Big Red Machine, and they lost 4.
Right.
I was at the last 2 in Yankee Stadium, and when you were there, right before that, compared to what it was playing against the Reds, those 2 games, it was warm.
Right.
I was freezing to death in those games. Yeah.
Well, so it's funny, because, I really did. I mean, I grew up out in the middle of nowhere in Missouri and on a soybean cotton farm. My brother caught me, and, it's the same thing. But, if you read that story, Blue Angel, where I knocked that umpire out.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it's all true. It's pretty funny. My brother, he caught me, and he played for Mississippi State, and he got drafted twice as a catcher. And he was a year and 16 days younger, but if we weren't feeling an umpire had the zone right, he'd just point to his mask and he just let one go right between his mask, and he let one go. We just kind of straightened him up a little bit, widen the zone. So
did you go along with the umpires and feel that certain players you could do certain things with and others you couldn't?
Yeah. I mean, I was always pretty good. Mr. Shylock aired my butt out, and when I was real young, and I thought I was such a hot rod, when I came up, and he let me know because I kind of turned my palms up on a pitch, and that was right down the middle. I think he was actually just testing me. Sure enough, I turned right back around, and Mr. Shylock, he was a little guy, and he was an umpire, Hall of Fame umpire, to be, and I'm sitting there on the rubber looking. He's looking straight up at me, and I'm looking straight down at him. And, and it was just quiet. And all I heard was for about 20 seconds was anything and everything that came right out of his mouth. And I just said, yeah.
Well, Mets had a catcher a number of years ago named Paul LaDuca. And this guy, he's now in the horse racing channels all the time because he's become a horse racing expert. And he used to turn around to the umpires when he didn't like the calls where he was catching. So, of course, when he was catching, they were balls, and when he hit, they were strikes.
Sure.
Because the umpires felt that he was consistently showing them up, and that's something that they don't particularly like.
No. You want the umpire on your side, not against you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially when you're throwing. Yeah, sorry.
No, sorry I interrupted you. I'm sorry. Sorry, sir.
Go ahead, Mark. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mark.
Oh no, I was just talking. But there's a lot of different interesting stories because the book moves, I think, well, and it moves from my first at bat and when I at bat and left, and then I go through the high school, and then I go to Legion, and then I go into first year when I through batting practice. First time I ever threw batting practice with an L screen and tried to kick a guy off first, almost killed first baseman. Everybody hit the floor on that one. And then that's how I got my nickname, actually. So that's kind of funny. Luke, Joe Gordon, Flash Gordon, the next day, he was rolling around on the ground. And they all were when I did that. And he said, "Where is that country boy? I kind of like him. I want to get him over here. I want to talk to him." And so,
it was love at first sight with baseball. I remember in the book, your mom took you down to the your first practice, and you didn't know anything about it, but you just loved the grass. You loved it all. It was. And I don't think that one can progress to a world-class athletic state without the love of the game. You can't just do it for doing it. There's a lot of, especially baseball, there's a lot of sitting around time, and you got to really, and a lot of traveling, a lot of camaraderie. You just have to love the whole thing, and you do.
Well, the passion, no doubt about it. You have to have passion for the game, And and you
definitely
know, when the
shows
scouts
you.
look at things, yeah, and the character, you know, the character has to be there. That's what scouts look for too. I mean, you know, what kind of character is this kid got? You know, what's he really like when he's under the gun? You know, they don't want to see you pitch all the time, you know, doing good. They want to see how you're going to react, you know, when you fail. So
you spent all those years as a pitching coach. Did you get into scouting yourself? Were there times in the off season you'd go out and?
Well, I signed a kid out of Australia because I coached 4 years in Australia.
Wow.
I signed I signed a left-handed pitcher out of there, and then there was I never got into the scouting part, but I can tell you the scouts got a really, really hard job. I don't care if it was in the past or in the present today. It's a tough job trying to go out there and find that right player, that right mesh, you know, and then, you know, to put them in the right round and, you know, to see if they're going to take the right money and actually pan out like you want them to be. So, you know, the old terminology, you got shipping and delivery. You know, they're the shipping and we're the delivery to us. And
Mark, I want to ask you: is enough homage paid to the difference between a fellow's fastball and his off-speed pitch? In other words, years ago,
Yep.
you'd hear from a Warren Spahn or whatever that pitching is deception. In other words, if you could throw the ball up 105 miles an hour, there's a major league hitter who's going to hit that 105 mile if he knows it's coming. I look at it, they don't talk much about that guy with the great changeup or the slow curve.
Right. Yeah. Well, you know, that makes total sense because, see, that's pitching is adding and subtracting through the zone. I mean, you know, it's like 2 is danger, 3 is death. You throw 2 pitches to one area, it's dangerous. You throw 3 to that area, it's forget it. You know.
Okay.
So I mean, but if you look at Jim Cott, for instance, you know, I asked Kitty Cat. I said, because I played with him a couple of years, and just a primo guy. Everybody knows that. But I asked Jim. I said, what's the secret, Kitty, as far as your longevity? He says, well, I turn the AC down. I sleep in a long shirt. He said, if I threw a 9-inning game, I throw a little bit the next day. It might only be 10 or 15 pitches. Just roll the arm over. He said, I take my bullpen on the normal day, and then I go back out. And he said, you don't have to throw every pitch hard. You know, you add and subtract. And, you know, that's the one thing. I mean, I was a thrower forever for such a long, long time. I didn't learn how to pitch until my last 3 years, or started to actually learn how to pitch. And so that's what got me into coaching. And the other thing is when I had my first arm surgery, and I was 20 years old when I was in the big leagues, I thought I knew so much about baseball until I went to this baseball camp to rehab myself. And I was trying to teach these young kids something. I said, well, I don't know so much as I think I do, you know? So I said, this was very curious to me. And so I dove right into it, you know, to try to understand and watch why. And there's so many different variations of the games. There are also so many different body types in the game. So, I mean, you've got to really pick and choose, and you've got to really do your homework. There's a lot to it. So,
hey, Mark, this has been terrific. We're up against the time. Let's make it part 1, and the 3 of us arrange in the future to come back. Same thing, because there's so much to talk about. You're so articulate.
Well, thank you, Al. And
Mark, it's been a privilege.
Thank you, Al, very much. Appreciate that very much.
Okay, please keep coming back. We love to have you as a friend of the show.
Thank you. I'm getting ready to go see a college game right now.
Okay, enjoy it.
Yes,
okay.
It should be joyous. You deserve it.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Thank you, Al Blumkin, Mark Littell. I'm privileged, too. You guys are my friends. Thank you, gentlemen, and We'll catch you on the flip-flop. Everybody out there, please enjoy your day and keep on keeping on.
Okay, Ralph.
Evening, gentlemen.
Take care, everybody.
Ralph.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.